Hello, everyone. Melissa here. How are you doing today? How is everybody doing? How is business going for you? It's the middle of the year, it's August. Well, I'm sure it's time to start thinking about taking a break, right? Because I have my break scheduled, I think, from the 19th, 18th of August. I'm going to be taking a break and we'll have a pause on the group. So I hope you're going to schedule that break in because, one of the things about being an entrepreneur is we're so dedicated to our businesses and we don't take time off. So if you were working for an employer, you have 6 weeks holidays and perhaps you took 4 weeks, you applied for 4 weeks in August. And it actually take that time off work, not looking at work, not checking up on anything. I mean, yes, although if you're at the managerial level, sometimes you have to be called in, but that hardly happens really. But when you become an entrepreneur, we're so committed to our businesses that we don't actually separate ourselves and take that break, that much needed time off. So I want to advise you. I want to advise you entrepreneurs in this Facebook group to take some time off this summer vacation. Have a summer vacation, however you decide to spend it is you, but actually take a break, right? Actually take that break. You're gonna feel rejuvenated. You're gonna come back with a bang. You get some clarity. It will work well for you, and not actually be on that break but working. I used to do that, so I'm on that break and working. But this holiday, I'm actually taking that time off. I won't be working. Although I did say I might commit to doing some writing, working on my second book, but it's not working, right? So anyway, I'm really excited to be here this morning. We're going to be talking about 5 ways to overcome posting paralysis. And you're going to be getting some golden nuggets that I usually share with my clients. So you're going to be getting some golden nuggets today that you can run with. And it will definitely help you to manage your whole content and give you a real strategy that you can work with. So let me start by asking a question. I'm not sure who's going to join me live, or if you're watching the replay, feel free to answer the question. But how many of you actually struggle with posting paralysis? I mean, like you're unsure of what to post, you're unsure of what to write, you struggle from week to week, what to post, what to write, you don't know what to do, it's kind of confusing, sometimes overwhelming. Is this you? Does this relate to you? Can you relate to this? And if this is you, you're in the right place because I have a solution for you today. And I am going to give you 5 ways to overcome that today. But before I start, you have to understand, first of all, why you're posting. You need to get that in your mind. That has to be clear. Why are you posting on social media, regardless of the platforms that you're using? Why are you posting? And you're posting to share your knowledge, you're posting to provide great value, you're posting to be seen as an expert, and of course, it's an opportunity to be seen by your potential clients. And one thing to understand, to grasp, which sometimes many coaches struggle with, is that, and this is something, what's his name again? Richard Brunson talks about. This is something that you have to understand that you have to become a content producer and not a content consumer. When you're an entrepreneur, it's all about being a content producer, having that level of influence in your niche. So you have to be on top of your game in terms of content. So you'll be seen as an expert and a producer of content rather than one who just takes it in a consumer of content, right? So in order for me to talk about overcoming posting paralysis, let me talk about your content objective first of all. Now you have a content objective, and your content objective is this: you're turning a total stranger into a casual reader, then you turn them into your subscriber, then to an engaged subscriber, to a fan, and to a customer. So when you first put your post out there, regardless of where you put that post, whether it's LinkedIn or a Facebook group or Twitter, etc., when you put that post out there, a total stranger is reading your post, and you want to turn that total stranger into a casual reader that whenever they see your name on their post, they read it. I mean, I get messages in my Facebook Messenger inbox. Hey, Melissa, I really, really love your content in XY group. So that person has become a casual reader. that whenever they see your name, they will read your post eventually. And again, if you're being consistent about it, it's easy, it's quick, it's a quick process to turn them from that total stranger to a casual reader. And then when they begin to like what they're reading and it begins to resonate with them more and more, they become a subscriber. Now they can become a subscriber either by opting in one of your free resources or a free training that you might have, a workshop, etc. Or they might opt into your Facebook group, and then from your Facebook group, then they opt in onto your email list. And then from a subscriber to an engaged subscriber. I have, although I have a list of over 2,000 people, right? I cleaned up my list. And although I have a large list, enough, and there are about 60 people on my list that whenever my email goes out, within 1 hour, these particular persons always read my email. I'm not sure why, and they might have different reasons, but I'm very sure it's because there's something in it that interests them, right? So they've become an engaged subscriber. There's certain people on your email list that will always open your emails, and I'm sure you can relate if you on other people's email list that there's a particular coach or person who writes, and you always read their emails, right? And then they become your fan, your raving fans. They're following you everywhere. They're attending your training. They love what you're offering. They love the value that you're giving until they become your customer. They might become a customer from a low ticket offer. They might become a customer from a high ticket offer, or maybe your funnel from a low ticket up to a high ticket, but they've become your customer. This is what you need to understand. This is your content objective. Now, when you get your content objective clear in mind, it becomes easier now to begin to overcome posting paralysis because you understand the whole content objective. You're turning that total stranger into a customer by going through the channel that I just explained. And now that you have an understanding of that, let me give you 5 ways to overcome posting paralysis. And the first way, you may not read this anywhere, but if you've been following me, you know this is something that I always speak about. The first thing I advise you to do is to clear your energy, right? So you clear your energy. So if today is the day, at 11 o'clock today to 12 o'clock today, I'm going to write my content for the week. You take some deep breaths. You can do a meditation, whether it's a black meditation. It doesn't matter. Just clear your energy. You meditate, you release any negative energy. You breathe in, expand your lungs, let your blood circulation flow, and raise your vibration, activate your vibration. If you want to listen to some music, whatever works for you to clear your energy and raise your vibration as you're ready to enter into this process, because it is a process. And this is the first step. You've got to clear your energy. The other thing about it is that if you're all stressed and already you're struggling with content paralysis, you find your energy, your vibration is going to come out in the post that you write. It's going to come out in it. And somebody who's very attuned like me, someone reading a post, I'm very, very attuned. I have, I think, natural psychic abilities. And I like to say, I'm very, very attuned. I pick up things. And you could feel the energy. For instance, for me, I don't know why, that's just how I'm wired. Somebody will walk into a room and I can feel the energy. I can literally feel it. Sometimes, depending on the frequency, I can feel it on my body, right? So you want to clear your energy, number one, and you want to release any negativity, any negative energy, raise your vibration, and get ready for this process. You want to be excited because this is an opportunity for you to share your content with your subscribers, with total strangers, with your fans, with your customers. All these different people will be reading your content, right? The second step now is to identify your goal. So this week, you're writing content for this week. What is your goal? So let's say, for instance, if in the next 10 days you have a launch coming up, then your goal is my upcoming launch, right? Maybe your upcoming launch, you're a mindset coach, and your upcoming launch is a one-to-one program. Then what you do is you work your way backwards. So in my upcoming launch, this is my goal. And then you identify all of the bleeding neck problems, all of the pain points relative to that. And that is how you break down, you write down your list of content ideas from that. So you're working your way backwards. Okay, for the next 10 days, I'm going to write about this up to my upcoming launch. So you've got. Can you see me? My screen just disappeared. Am I live still? I'm not sure what happened. My screen just disappeared. All right, so you got to identify your goal, and if you have an upcoming launch, for instance, then you work your way backwards for your upcoming launch, right? You always bear in mind when you're creating your content, what are you offering this month? What are you offering? It could be a training. It may not necessarily be an upcoming launch. But let's say you have an upcoming webinar. You have a webinar coming up. You're a mindset coach, and you have a webinar coming up in the next 20 days. Then you plan your list of content ideas around that, leading up to your 5 day or 7 day promotion of your webinar, right? So it's all linked. Everything is well coordinated, and that's number two. Then number three, you got to plan, 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 plan. Now, one of the first things you're doing in planning is create a content planner with a list of all your content ideas. Where can you get those content ideas? From blog posts, the niche that you're in, the top blogs in your niche. You go there, you write down, the topics that they're writing on. The podcast, the big podcast, you get the topics for the podcast, you write that down. You know, Facebook groups. So what I have my clients do, for instance, you go into Facebook groups and you conduct a search and you see what people are talking about the most, or sometimes questions that people are asking. This is something that I do regularly as well. And then when I write that post, I get like 20 people. I've written posts that have gotten 40 likes and more in different Facebook groups, because what I actually did is I researched to see what people are talking about, or I researched to see what people are struggling with, and I write upon that. And although it may not be relative to like the step two I gave, my upcoming launch, but it's still relative to my niche. It's still a bleeding neck problem as it pertains to my niche and what I teach about. So if you're struggling with content ideas, even though you may not have an upcoming launch, and even if you have an upcoming launch, but you're struggling with content ideas, a great place to start is in the Facebook groups, because this is where your potential clients are. You start in those Facebook groups. You go to the podcasts, you go to the top blogs in your niche, all these places. You go on LinkedIn, you check social media, see what people are talking about, questions people are asking. You email your list if you have one, and you write them and you ask them, what are they struggling with? And all this helps you to create a list of content ideas. So you would create a list of content ideas, any number, maybe write 50. So for the next 6 weeks, you don't need to be struggling to come up with a topic to write about. So this is very, very important, right? Another thing you can consider to come up with a list of content ideas is to think of the topics in your niche. Are there any topics in your niche that you have opposing views on? So let's say, for instance, in my niche, right, I help coaches to start online coaching businesses, to build a profitable online coaching business, and I show them the processes, and everything that they need to put everything in place to show them how to get clients, put everything in place so that they can build a successful business. And one of the things that I oppose is many people tend to think that when you're starting your online coaching business, you need a website. I need a website to start with. And then they get bogged down in creating a website, and they get bogged down in creating in expensive ads, running expensive ads. And they get bogged down in doing all of these things that are not absolutely critical in running the coaching business. Yes, there's a time and place for it, but not at that point in time. It's not urgent when you're starting your coaching business to definitely create a website, to definitely start running ads, right? So are there any topics in your niche that you have opposing views on? It's great to write about that. I'm giving you some ideas now for your content list. What is everyone saying that isn't necessarily true? For instance, everyone is saying fake it till you make it. Yesterday, I did an interview in a very large group. I think there are 7,000 people in that group. And I did an interview. And I was talking about that, the fake it till you make it. And I oppose that totally. Because if you're faking it till you make it, hey, you're faking it, right? Are you going? Is it going to happen to you because you're faking it? Those feelings aren't true. Your belief isn't true because you're faking it. But let's say if you desire to have a 10K business or a six-figure business, there's no need to fake it. This is something that you believe strongly, you want, you have a strong desire, you're going to act like it and believe for it. There's no need to fake anything. So are there any topics in your niche that people are saying and you don't think is necessarily true, right? What are some of the viewpoints that are broadly supported in your niche? What are your thoughts on it? That's another way to come up with some content ideas. Misconceptions, any myths that people have. Like I talk about, you need to run expensive ads and launch a website in order to start your coaching business. Any myths and misconceptions in your niche, that as well, write that down. That goes into your list of content ideas. If you have specific methods to get clients, write that down as well, right? All this will help you to compile a list of content ideas. So now that you organize, now that number one, you've cleared your energy. Number two, you've identified your goal. Number three, you've created your list of content ideas. Now, you can create a massive list of content ideas and every week you just pick from it. Or you can do this on a week by week basis. It's whatever works for you. So I created a list of massive content ideas and I hardly even refer to it now. What I do it on a week by week basis. I write all my content on a Sunday. So I go into the Facebook groups, I get those topics, I put it together, my content ideas. I choose 4 or 5 that I'm going to write about this week and I create it all on a Sunday. Now you're ready to write because you have your list of content ideas. Whether you're addressing any myths in your niche, whether you're addressing things that people are saying that aren't necessarily true, whether you're addressing questions or things that people are struggling with that you discovered from your research, whatever you're addressing, you have your list of content ideas. You're now ready to write. Now, one of the ways, a process you can use for writing is something I call PASS. So PASS is where you start with the problem. Do you struggle with content paralysis? You start with the problem, P. A, you amplify the problem, and it's causing you great overwhelm and frustration, not knowing what to write, not knowing where to start. You amplify that problem. And then if you want to share a story, you could talk about yourself, you could talk about a client of yours, or you could just talk about the problem. And then you offer a solution at the end. So you offer a solution, and your solution can incorporate a call to action because it really depends on where you're posting your post. Some groups allow you to put a call to action in the end, some don't. So you always offer your solution and then, of course, your call to action in the end where you allow. So this is a great writing process, a writing format. If you're struggling with a format for your writing, consider the PASS system. P for problem. A, you amplify the problem. S, you share a story. You talk about the problem. And an S for the solution. And if you're allowed to incorporate a call to action, because I write my post and I have the same post with just the solution at the end, and then I'll have the same post with a call to action at the end because I'm posting in various groups. And some groups you're allowed to put a call to action, some you aren't allowed. It doesn't matter because remember what I mentioned at the beginning. Remember what you have to have that content objective. At the beginning, I explained that you first need to understand what your content objective is. You're turning that total stranger who is now seeing your post for the first time into a casual reader, into a subscriber, into an engaged subscriber, into a fan, and into a customer. And I'm telling you this from experience. I get messages all the time on Facebook Messenger. Hey, Melissa, I really, really love your content because this person, when I first posted, was a total stranger. And then you have to be consistent. And because I'm consistent, every time they see your name, they're reading your post, that person has become a casual reader. And then, of course, eventually when they're liking what you're posting, is resonating with them, they really enjoy reading your post, they're going to subscribe. They're going to become a subscriber. Whether they land on your business page to check you out and you have a free resource on your business page, or they landed on your profile, or they landed in your Facebook group, or they opted into your training or your workshop, they've become a subscriber. And then they've become an engaged subscriber, because I shared when I started, someone is saying very true, it's saying Facebook reader. Thank you, it is very true. Of my list of over 2,000 subscribers on my email list, right? There are about 60 persons. When my email goes out within 1 hour, there are about 60 persons who always open my emails. These are my engaged subscribers. They always open your emails. So they become an engaged subscriber. Then they become your fan. So when you were to write them and you say, hey, I have an upcoming training on XYZ, they want to be there. They want to learn from you because they love the value that they're getting from you until they become your customer, right? Whether it's from your low ticket offer or your high ticket offer, they've become your customer. So once you understand your content objective, this is going to motivate you to become more consistent in your content strategy and showing up consistently. Keep that objective in mind. Many people try to rush the process. You can't rush the process. You can't turn a total stranger into a customer just like that. Oh, yes, it can happen. Yes, sometimes it does happen. But in our line of business, it's not like you're selling a Nike shoe, right? And I've seen this Nike shoe for the first time. I love it and I buy. But in our line of business, it works differently. Sometimes, yes, it can happen. You've put a Facebook ad out there, they've joined your training and they've bought, but they've joined your training again. You've put the Facebook ad, they've joined your training, they've liked what they've gotten, it responds to their needs, so they become engaged in that training and purchase from you. But in 90% of the times, they have to go through that process, the content objective process. And you know why this process is better? Because that's how you create long-term fans. That's how you create long-term customers. You want to create long-term fans because even if they don't buy from you over and over again, they've bought from you once or twice, they're going to recommend you. They're gonna get referrals from these engaged subscribers, right? So this is why it's important to understand the content objective. So good. I shared three of the ways already. I shared number one, the first way is to clear your energy before you start the entire process. If you missed the beginning, you can always go back. Number two, to identify your goals. Number three, to plan, create your list of content ideas. And I shared where you can get your list of content ideas, all the different places you can visit to get that list. And number four, I shared your writing format using the past formula: problem, amplify the problem, story, and a solution. Always start with that bleeding neck problem. Always make the problem worse because you want it to resonate with them. And then when you're sharing your story, you can either sympathize with your reader, you connect with them. In that story, you could discount a myth, and then you introduce your solution, a call to action where you allow. Now, the last way, the fifth way to overcome posting paralysis is to have a weekly posting strategy. Now I'm going to share something with you. A pity I can't share on my screen with StreamYard. You need to have two monitors to do that. Or as I would have shared my screen, because what you're going to get right now, what I'm going to share with you right now is a golden nugget that only my clients get, right? Because I give my clients a strategy for managing their content that takes away, they don't spend an hour, 2 hours a day on content. They don't get frustrated and overwhelmed, right? So basically, you have the fifth way is having your weekly posting strategy. So what I do is I create something called a unique content strategy, and it takes all of the stress out of the way. Now, the unique content strategy has a number of components. First of all, number one, you identify your content ideas, like I explained. Number two, you create a storage system for all of your content. I will recommend using a Google Doc. Why? So even if you undergo, sometimes if I have to go to the hairdressers, when you have to go to the hairdresser, the entire day is dedicated to the hairdresser. So even when at the hairdresser, I can just open up my phone, go into my Google Doc, based on my unique content strategy, which I'm going to share with you. I know what I'm going to post where, and then I just highlight that, copy, and paste it into the different groups. So you create a storage system. This is important. If you haven't been doing so, Start so today. I remember when I started, before I developed this, I used to just write my post and put it out there. I didn't used to store anything, right? But store all your posts. I have a document with it's close to 200 posts right now. And you can always repurpose that content. The post that's number 2 on your list, you can share that now, because persons would have missed that, and not everyone sees your post. So have a storage system for all of your posts, and you number your posts. So number 1, number 2, number 3, number 45, number 67, and just store all your posts and give them a number. And then, this is a golden nugget. I really shouldn't be giving this away. And then number 2, you create a Google Sheet. And in that Google Sheet, this is your unique content strategy. You have the list of the Facebook groups that you're posting in. And you have the days of the week in that Google Sheet. The days of the week on the left, the groups you're posting in, right? In the workforce, right? And you have the links to those groups, so you could just click on those groups and open it up right away. And what you do is on Sunday, and when I write mine on a Sunday, you could do it on a Monday at the start of your week. You dedicate that hour. This hour is to writing all of my content for the week. So you write 4 posts for the week, right? You write those 4 posts, they're numbered. So let's say my post is now number 165, number 166, number 167, and number 168. If I'm sharing in 5 different groups, in 2 groups, I'm putting hashtag 164, 164, the other group 165, the other group 167, the other group 168, right? And then that's for Monday. Number 2, on Tuesday, the group that had 164, I'm now sharing 165 on Tuesday. And that's how you number it all, and you know exactly what you're going to share at the beginning of the week in every group. And this is your content posting strategy, right? And it really, really works, because it takes all of the stress out of the way. When Tuesday comes, I don't have to wonder. I don't have to sit now to write a post, or I'm not even in the mood. What am I going to write about? If you follow the tips that I've given you, the tips I've given you, I do myself. My clients do as well. My clients are amazed, because they were like, the beginning of the week, it's like a breeze. They go through the week like a breeze, because everything is already organized and done. All they need to do is look at Monday, okay, post number 165. They go to post number 165 in their storage system, copy and paste that, X group. The next group, post number 167, copy and paste that, next group. It's a really, really a valuable system. So this is my unique content strategy that I'm sharing with you. And I know it can help you greatly. So these 5 tips that I've given you, these tips are valuable. And definitely, if you were to employ these tips, take some time, sit down, identify what you're doing well in your own content strategy work, in your own content work, content management. What are you doing well? What you need to improve? And then look at the tips that I've shared and write those things that you can take away from what you need to improve. Okay? And you will definitely, you will no longer be struggling with posting your content. You'll no longer be unsure as to what to share, right? So I want to thank you for joining me live. If you're watching the replay, just type hashtag replay. Let me know if you're getting great value, if you've gotten great value from this training. And if you've been following me, I know some of you have been following me, liking my posts in different groups. You will know that what I've shared today is something that I do myself, because I show up consistently all the time. And of course, you go in those groups and you provide great value. Just last week, I had a client book a call, also wants to work with me. And it was because of my content. And of course, responding to different people's posts and providing value on the post. And although 20-something persons responded to her, she was like, wow, the advice you gave me was the best. And that's why I wanted to book a call with you. So be consistent, show up, and take the tips that I give you. And you will no longer be struggling with content paralysis. I want to wish you a lovely day. And by the way, if you're a coach and you're struggling in your coaching business, now is the time to reach out to me. It's the mid-year. It's the right time to reach out to me. Let's have a chat on how I can help you, how I can help you to build a profitable coaching business. I give my clients templates. I give them tools. I give them processes. I give them systems and strategies, and makes it all easy for them. They know what to do next and when. Takes all of the stress out of the way. If you want to know more, just send me a message and let's have a chat. Have a lovely day, and bye for now.